Oh, hi there. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to address one of the questions I have not been directly asked. No one's come up to me and asked me it, but I know it's a question that some people will have said, on other channels that they haven't asked me directly. Anyway, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a Lady Gaga t-shirt. At all, for one thing, and for two, why am I wearing it in the room, which is where I shoot my videos about hockey. The two things have nothing to do with each other. I did some research on that, actually, and the only thing I could find with Gaga and the NHL was she went to a game last year, a Chicago game. That's about it. There's not really a story there or anything like that. I doubt she has very much involvement in sports anyway. I mean, she did sing at the Super Bowl, so I guess she's got some investment in the NFL, but I don't know much about that. Anyway, to sort of bring up exactly why I purchased this shirt today, I have to tell a little bit of a story. A couple days ago, I had I saw something, and it kind of was a metaphor for my life. It felt like. Basically, I'm on my bus going home, and I happened to notice that there was a small spider web in the seats in front of me. I thought about it for, because the bus ride's, 25 minutes long, so I had time to think of exactly what I wanted to do. Like, I could tell from the spider web, it wasn't like a dangerous spider or anything like that. It was just like a, like a little spider. We don't get really, really bad spiders around here. Anyway, I thought about what I should do because, someone could sit right there and not have seen it, and then the spider's hard work of making that web will have been for nothing. But I also got to thinking, well, that web it probably took the spider a night to make that, but it was in a bus, and it was never going to catch anything in that bus. It just never was. So I figured the humane thing to do would be to destroy that web, so that it may come to the realization that it has to leave the bus and make a web outside of the bus to catch insects, bugs, or that sort of thing. Yeah, so I mean, it was close enough to the front of the bus. Theoretically, the spider could have made its way out. Probably not, but at least it had a chance. It didn't have the false hope of this spider web and catching something it was never going to catch. Because you hardly ever see any insects in these buses. Coincidentally, I did see a giant mosquito a day or two later. But anyway, my point being is that the whole Gaga, episode in pop culture and pop music is quite a sad and pathetic atmosphere. Not to be mean, they've accomplished a lot of things, done a really good job in a lot of ways, but it has had its more than its fair shares of bad times that you kind of get a vague notion of when you research anything about Lady Gaga. I don't do a whole lot of that. I don't have enough time to really research a lot of anything. You know, I work 5 days a week, then you know, I got this and that going on. I just don't have the time, okay? And the internet doesn't actually make it that easy for you anyway. How this story is similar to mine is that I've made a YouTube channel. I'm getting close to 350 views. It's not really getting anywhere. The humane thing to do for me would have someone come along and destroy my YouTube channel, so that I may leave the metaphorical bus and try to survive outside, at least have a fighting chance, because clinging to this false hope that I'm going to be able to survive in this narrow, very vague, nothing going on, nothing will ever go on kind of lifestyle, and not in ideal conditions. I mean, I live in a house, I eat nice food, my friends are, they're good people, but I have my fair share of disadvantages, particularly my sore throat. Oh God, do I wish that would go away, more than anything. So there's that, and Gaga's got a similar sort of problem in the sense that she says it's her creativity, and it is, but clearly they make her do things because she's got a big cult of personality. A lot of people want to push her in different directions. There's only so much she can do, and she's done half-to-done things that she would not have wanted to do that. You can clearly see that in some of the videos she's made. In particular, Telephone, where she's in a prison, and like, I saw all the behind the scenes of that, and she did have a lot of fun making that, but that story is a metaphor, and that music video is a metaphor for a more serious thing if you kind of just imagine what propaganda really is. When I picked this shirt out, they had about 6 Gaga t-shirts, and one of them was where she had cigarettes over her eyes and she's had the chain link fence behind her. I'm not wearing that one. I didn't buy that one. I picked this one because it was the least offensive one. Yeah, I don't even want to get into the metaphorical applications of that one at all. I just, you know, some of her tunes are catchy, and, you know, I listen to them here and there, not that often, but a little bit anyway. And some of her music videos I do not watch. I just hear her music, because her music is, you know, it's pretty normal for the most part. I mean, there has been a music video or two where it's been really, really strange, but we're not going to talk about that anyway. Yeah, it's just that the sad part of Gaga's cult of personality is, let's get one thing straight. There are more Lady Gagas than there really are. I mean, there is only one Lady Gaga, but she has not imposters, but you know, doubles that perform in other countries in the world, and they present themselves as Lady Gaga. I have seen them perform in other places, and you look at Stephanie performing in places like Australia, I think Korea, a lot of the times in the States, sometimes in Europe and things like that, but also Lady Gaga her cult of personality has performed in other countries like Thailand, for example, and a couple other ones that are really shady. The real Lady Gaga, Stephanie Germanotta, cannot perform in those places. They would immediately try to grab her because she's one of the most influential young pop stars of the North American atmosphere. And it goes the same thing in South America. She's supposed to have played there a few times, and I have my doubts. Perhaps she did play in a very secured location, but I doubt it. I bet it was an imposter that played her. Not an imposter, but a double. And the risk is real for her doubles, because the cult of personality against Gaga, this one has a lot of negative connotations. Well, there was the meat dress thing, for one thing. There was also the thing where she's got thrown in a meat grinder, and a few other things here and there, and her dressed in embarrassing clothing and things like that. But she became a pop icon at a very difficult time in history for white pop culture. And no doubt that to be in that position, there are parts of the world that would want her to perform there, and they'd want her to perform under conditions that would not be fair to her. Of course, they can't allow her to go there, but somebody's got to do it, so there comes in the doubles, performing in places that I would deem unsafe, and no white people should perform there. Because with a lot of cult of personality, what comes with it is, well, the desire to destroy the centerpiece, the cult of personality, in whatever shape, manner, or form. I guarantee you Gaga around Halloween has to perform in concerts that are quite terrifying, really. I mean, the Stephanie Germanotta that we know and could easily visibly recognize, she's never in any danger. It's her doubles, her underlings that have to go to these places, and the danger is real for them. In Asia, I could just imagine exactly how horrible the secret nightclubs that these Gaga doubles have to perform in, and life's different for them. They deserve a lot of respect, but the thing is, the Asians in particular, they want to put a lien on white culture and embarrass it by the accentuation of homosexuality, the LGBT movement. I know Gaga's very strong about those sort of things, but also they're doing that because it is demasculating, emasculating, I should say, to men. And it also shows desperation and feebleness and just genuine lack of ability to enforce, godlike, elite, divine protection. Like, there were many pop celebrities before who basically they were on a totally different playing field. It's like they were very epitome of modern day society. Gaga's early work showed that of her. She dressed a little bit funny in her early videos, but for the most part it was showing her as being wealthy, successful, everything went her way, she was happy, and all that other sort of stuff. But in her later works, it looks like she's going through some turmoil. Because she's bringing up, sad topics and things like that. And yeah, she's got this personality, like she never wants to stop doing what she's doing, which is great. But politics around her have to change, and she has to, be in a better position than she's in. Not necessarily getting her way in certain aspects of the political atmosphere, because I know she is very disappointed about Donald Trump winning the presidency. That is staying the way it is. I know there's a few other things that didn't go away. Maybe she's got an emotional bias. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But it really is a complicated scene, Gaga, and it's important. I know a lot of, especially guys who are expecting me to, talk about hockey in the washroom here with the shower behind me, but I'm talking about Gaga, and they're going, well, I'm not interested in this. I don't want to know. She's about things that I don't care about, don't want to know about, don't agree with her about. But it's the cult of personality that is important, and clearly there's some aspects of this thing that aren't going to go away. These doubles playing in shady areas of the world, most likely they were born there, they've lived there their whole lives, but the only disadvantage was they happened to be white. And Asians have this philosophy that one person's misery, if it's for the greater good, is justifiable. So therefore they can do whatever they want to that one person, and it doesn't matter because it's for the greater good. But that is absolute bullshit, and I can tell you that with a straight face. It's not Gaga's fault that her doubles are in like really uncomfortable positions. That's not her fault at all, and I don't blame her for going, well, I'm not going to trade places with you because it's better you than me. That sounds like a selfish reason, because as the propaganda machine around her would perpetuate, she's a very caring person, and she is, but there's certain things that human nature and self-preservation that she will not do, and that just makes sense. It doesn't make her a bitch, but I could see the people, in particular her doubles, being in a spot of bother, and maybe holding a little bit of resentment towards her about that, but they have some sort of, like, they care, but like they're frenemies, or it probably varies from different double to different double, but the different counterparts, but it's just this movement, and exactly where it's going, and the circumstances of it all. It's the sins of the fathers is the biblical term you would use. The white people of today are paying for the past misdeeds of previous generations, and a lot of people are really reasonable about things, but they still do bad things, and I don't think, no matter how reasonable your reason for doing bad things is, I don't think it's right. But yeah, she's gotta save her own bacon. That's understandable, because as with the Bon Appetit video that I described, there are people that would eat her alive if they had the opportunity to. And that can't happen because she's the queen and she's at the top of the pyramid. But somehow we gotta figure out how to change the echelon and the chain of command, so that the people who are in less fortunate positions don't have to be in so much trouble. It's the hand they were dealt, that the powers that be have bestowed upon them, and it's a real shame, because there are really good people in Gaga's cult of personality who are in very much deep trouble. And I'm more thinking the ones that are performing in Asia, but I mean, there are also the ones in the prison system, I suppose, and other places, and my imagination is exhausted on exactly the logic behind where this cult of personality is. I don't even think about certain aspects at all. The LGBT movement, don't think about it at all. I know that's the big thing that Gaga's about, and I don't have a problem with some dude doing what he wants with a different dude, but I don't want it anywhere near me. That's my take on it. Yeah, but it's a lot more complicated than that. It's a great big mess, and misery gut stories are making its way into this cult of personality. And I don't want to say accentuate the positive, but the queen of pop music shouldn't have miserable times, even if there are miserable times in the world, and there most certainly are in a lot of places, but that shouldn't influence the masses into the state of kind of misery, or not misery, but like pretend misery, but things aren't so bad, but they're getting better. I don't know. I'm just going off the general vibe of what the Gaga cult of personality is entirely. Like, I do not read a lot of the articles, and this, that, and the other. I listen to music a little bit here and there. As a matter of fact, when I bought this Gaga shirt, I had to make it a point to go, I'm not walking out of here with just a Gaga shirt. I'm going to buy a couple of Black Sabbath shirts while I'm at it. And yeah, I got the Wheels of Confusion, where he's dressed in yellow, he's got his hands up like that. That was a good shirt. And I also got one with long sleeves, purple writing with the devil on in the middle. That's a cool shirt. They were 30% off. Super amazing shirts. This one, for a Gaga shirt, it's okay. But as I said earlier, I was not going to buy the one with her behind the chain link fence. I don't want people getting the wrong idea about me, and this is a very difficult topic to talk about. Most guys don't want to go anywhere near it, and I don't blame them, actually, to be honest with you. There's been a few things I've seen where I don't want anything to do with that. And that's not to be mean to Gaga or anything like that, but that's the honest truth. There's some things that I do not want to get involved with, and it's a very, very, very complicated thing, because as with most celebrities, important people, cult of personality, they have a mean streak, and Gaga most certainly does. And I have drawn caricatures of her on my social media, depicting her as the devil, and other things as well. I've depicted her as being Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, and obviously she's much more powerful than someone like me, and it's, you know, it is advisable to keep your head down, keep working, and stay under the radar, but those aren't the cards I was dealt. So although my situation is not ideal, I do see things getting better. I see my YouTube channel getting destroyed, the web that I made, and finding the door, and actually being able to survive comfortably. And I see that being similar for Gaga, because she's built a web of deceit and other things that I don't do, and really that's not really what she wants, I think. So someone should come along and destroy her web. So in that way we're similar. I don't like to look at myself as a spider, but if you want to make a lasting impression, especially if you want to make any historical significance, then I guess technically you are a bit of a spider. Yeah, I don't like looking at it that way though. It's you know, it's just a good metaphor for someone who's trying to influence future people, future masses, is that the further away from the web you are, you're still caught in the web, but you're nowhere near the spider. And that is the best thing for someone in particular like Gaga, is that you don't get too close to the center of that web, that cult of personality, because it will literally be hell, and you don't want to go there. For me, like, I've tried to build a cult of personality. I didn't think that's what I was doing at first, but now it is starting to look like what I've been just talking about. But you know, things are pretty low key around me, and you know, normal. I don't know what else to say, man. Like, in my own defense, I have my idea of what the world should look like, and I think that I can have an influential voice, and my opinion should be heard, and I think a lot of people will concur with what I have to say. I know for some people, this whole conversation I've just had will make absolutely no sense at all. They don't get it. They have their own perceived conceptions of what Gaga is. I'm taking my interpretation of it, and we're not going to have the same you know, idea of what it is. They're going off in a totally different direction than I am. And yeah, so that's part of the reason why I am wearing a Gaga shirt. And Bruce Springsteen, he took his daughter, first concert she'd ever been to a Lady Gaga concert, and Bruce Springsteen, of all his worldly wisdom doing that, really says something about how he feels about the situation. I'm sure he's well informed and able to make decisions in an appropriate manner. Rest assured, I will be very careful where I wear this shirt, and I don't want any of that other weird stuff, okay? I really don't. I mean, yeah, I love Lady Gaga, but a lot of things about her I don't agree with. And it's, yeah, very, lot of words to describe exactly what's going on there. And a very difficult situation to explain. Anyway, those were the main points I wanted to bring up. So we'll talk later. I'm probably gonna make another video tonight, probably hockey related. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.